Yeah, so the first one does, but the smaller ones, they're not too bad. Not too bad. My son got on. He had a good time until he got ran over. He got ran over by one. That's another story. It's a lawsuit. We're about to own Stone Mountain. Take all the Confederate guys off the side of the mountain.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, I appreciate you guys being here. We're gonna get this thing started. We're gonna be talking about Crystal. What's up? How you doing? I didn't mean to not say hi to you. How you doing? Cool, cool. We're gonna go ahead and talk about really what the net of an investment looks like. As promised, we were talking about Ramon. You guys just getting on. I was telling him what was going on today. He asked, was I working hard? I really wasn't working hard. I was just kind of consuming some knowledge, right? Some people might have saw on my Instagram. I got a chance to go meet at his house Congressman John Lewis. And so I was hanging out with him for the last, 5 hours or so. Got there around 1 o'clock, and I'm just now getting back. Went out to dinner, went to his house, just to kind of hear him talk about stories of just writing letters to Martin Luther King and being on the Freedom Riders and just, what he had to do, getting beat up just to, for us to be on this conference call right now, free, right? And just some of the things that were going through his mind and how scared he was. And just to kind of put all that perspective, man, that we are 100% absolutely just completely blessed to be in where we are right now, man. We definitely need to make sure that we acknowledge hold on 1 second. Let's mute there. Be grateful. Really understand how important of it. Really, I think the obligation is that we have to learn this craft so that we can be better to the next generation, be better to our kids and everything else. So I'm going to get right into this thing because this is a lot of numbers. This is my first time going to teach. No, that's not really my first time teaching. It's my first time teaching it to the class. That's for sure. It's not, this information that we're going to go over is not in the course. This is stuff that I want you to, is going to make you a better wholesaler. It's going to allow you to dissect the deal on the back end and kind of really see whether or not, what's going on, Elvis, really see whether or not this is a good deal for your end investor, because you always want to think with the end investor in mind. One day you're going to be the end investor, right? And so if you can do that, if you can put yourselves in their shoes and say, yes, I would spend my money on this property, then you probably have a good deal, okay? So with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and share this whiteboard screen. Make this bigger, boom. Slide that up there. So I told you guys, this is a good amount of going back and forth. So you might need to definitely want to take down some notes, and you might want to just kind of really try to digest this. If you have questions, please ask questions, write them down so we can go over this stuff. So what I am building right now, because I'm seeing, I guarantee you guys, the market is going to slow up drastically. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen the news, the last quarter was the lowest amount of fix and flips that we've had since like 2008. Okay, I think it was like 46,000 fix and flips nationwide. It sounds like a lot, but nationwide is not a lot. Okay, so seasoned investors, banks, hard money people, the people that do this for a living, that's been in the game for a very, very long time, they're starting to tighten up when it comes with their money. Okay, most fix and flippers are not using their own 100% their own cash. They're mostly using other people's money. So if those other people are getting tighter with the money, they know what's coming, because when the bubble bursts, you want to have all the cash in your bank account, because cash is going to be king. Credit is not going to matter. You're not going to be able to get finance. The bank is not going to give you anything. They're going to want cash. So it's important, it's imperative that you guys learn what this stuff looks like on the back end, and why your deal does or doesn't make sense. So let me see if I want to pull. All right, yeah, I'll do a real one that we're working right now. Actually, I got it on the board. All right, so we talk about ARV. All the numbers derive off the ARV, right? And so ARV is super, super important with us, especially as wholesalers. We need to know the ARV, okay? And so we get a property, it says the ARV is $340,000, right? And you're gonna see me going up here on this whiteboard here, physically in my house. So I'm just gonna pull down this example. So that means if you guys know the formula, 340, right? $340,000 times 0.7, all right? 0.7 is 238. So our all-in, try to stay with me on this. I know we're gonna have questions, it's okay. But our all-in is 238. So this means our end investor wants to be completely in everything for $238,000, and they'll make 30%. If gross, they'll make 30% gross, okay? So if they can get into this property, means they buy it, flip it, they buy the house, they pay us our fee and repairs for $238,000. That leaves them a gross amount of $102,000 in this particular case, right? 238 from 340, right? So that looks good at first glance, okay? Now, in this particular one, we have a rehab budget of $48,500, okay? So we're gonna do a rehab. I'm getting pretty decent at this. Oops, except for that, $48,500. So we're gonna go ahead and put $48,500 into this property, and we're gonna make it look 2018, almost 2019, ready, HGTV style. So then we have a purchase price. All right, I'm just gonna put purchase of $189,500, okay? Now that $189,500 is what we have on the property. So that's including our money. So $189,500, and under contract, it is at $160,000, okay? So we don't need to worry about the contract because the end buyer is not gonna get it, but under contract is $160,000, okay? Now, here's where here's where you guys need to really start to pay attention on this, okay? So these are our raw numbers, right? When you're dealing with hard money, most of the time, they're gonna charge you points. Now, some people will charge you 1 point, some people will charge you 2. 1 to 2 points is pretty doggone good. 3 points is okay. That's like normal. When they start charging you 4 and 5 points, that's just being greedy. So if you don't know, 1 point is 1%. So that's one thing you got to keep in mind is the points. Okay, so I want you guys to run down 1 point equals 1% of what you are borrowing. So write that down. 1 point equals 1% of what you are borrowing. Right? Now, what they'll also do is they will charge you, they will make the investor, keep in mind, when I'm saying that I am talking to you as the end investor. You are, flipping this house. You're not the wholesaler because our money is in here, right? We're in it and we're out of it. As the fix and flipper, you're gonna have to pay a down payment on some of this, okay? And so typically what they'll do is they'll break up the down payments on, part of it will be on the purchase of the home, and the other side will be on the actual rehab cost. So that's why it's important for us to know the rehab and the purchase price. So let's just say I think this one is 10 and 10. So each company is different, right? So if we do 10% of each one of these, obviously that's easy math. So 10% of the rehab budget is $4,850, right? So this is money that's going to have to come out. Remember, Ramon, Majid, Crystal, you guys are now the fix and flippers. This money that's coming out of your bank account, okay, to get into this flip. Out of this one, this 10% of 1895 is going to be $18,950, okay? All right, so all together, we got, you add this up, man, I'm so glad I did this and left this off on the board. We got $23,850 $800. That's an ugly 8. You guys get the point though. All right. So $23,800 is what it's going to cost as a down payment. Now, this down payment, I'm gonna put DP up here, okay? This down payment is not how much it costs to get completely into the property, okay? But this is important to remember. Write down the little star next to it and say down payment comes off of the amount borrowed, because points are based off of what? The total amount of the project, the total 238, or how much is it, or how much is borrowed? It's how much is borrowed, right? A lot of people make that mistake. They'll just say, oh, the points are off the 238. No, because how am I paying percentages on 238,000? 23,800 is my own money. I'm not going to pay percentage on my own money. I'm also not going to pay what? Monthly interest on my own money, okay? So you got to remember that this 23.8 comes out of these, okay? So you don't, when you start doing the financing costs, or as we get into next, and we start adding up the points, we don't overcharge our client, okay? Or in your particular case, if you're doing it, you're not getting overcharged, okay? So when we subtract these, when we add these two up here, it's 48.5 and it's 189.5, and then we subtract 23,800, which we get is a finance amount. I'm just going to put FIN. You guys can write the whole thing. It just takes so long writing on this thing. We get a finance amount of $214,000 and $214,200. Oh, that was an ugly 0. Okay, so that's how much we're getting our interest is based off of, and that's where our points are being based off of. So in this particular case, with this particular lender, they are charging us 2 points. So all we have to do is times this times 0.02. And if you guys are following along doing the math, you are going to get $4,284. $4,284. Now this amount is going to have to go up. We're going to have to add this amount to this to let our client know that, hey, you need to bring this right here, this 23.8, and this to the closing table. But that's not all. But wait, there's more, okay? Because we also have closing costs. Real quick, somebody come off mute. What is the average closing cost? Somebody chime in. I don't care who it is.
6%, right?
Nope. You are a crook attorney if you're charging 6%, Ramon. No, but you're close. If you cut it in half, it'd be 3%. Thank you for chiming in. 3%. The average cost on closing is 3%. Okay.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 3 and 3 for both. Never mind. Sorry, got confused. I thought
it's cool. No, it's a learning experience. But guess what? Since you chimed in, guess what? You'll probably never forget that again. So closing costs with the attorney in the state of Georgia, since we have closing attorneys, what they normally charge is about 3% of what? Anybody know? Is it the total amount of the loan? No, it's not. It's off of what? It's off of what are we buying? It's just the house, right? They're not going to charge us closing costs off of the rehab money, okay? This is why this thing can get confusing if you don't really think about it, right? So the attorney is going to go only, because we're just buying the house at 189.5. They never see the repair money. The attorney doesn't care anything about this money. That money comes in later, okay? But the closing costs are charged off of the purchase price of the home. So we're going to do 3% of 189.5. So closing is 3% of purchase. And that runs, I'm just going to put PRCH. Man, that looks horrible. I could get one of those little things that you can just write with. This is difficult. So our closing costs come out to, if you do 3% of 189.5, it comes out to $5,685. So 5,685. Take that number, this number again, and now we have to bring that up to here as well, okay? So once we add those two, once we add this one, and we add this one, we add it to this, it gives us what our client is going to have to come out of their pocket at the closing table in order to make this deal at this amount happen. $33,769. So out of this $33,769, this finance cost, they'll get back. I'm sorry, these points. The points they don't get back, and the closing they don't get back. Okay, that's lost. This 23.8, they're going to get that back, right? Once they sell the property, hopefully they get it back. If they sell it for a profit. If you guys have done your job as wholesalers, they will, right? So you need to make sure that this right here, these two numbers that add up here, you need to make sure that your client or yourself, if you're doing this fix and flip, understand that, and you have built in enough profit to absorb that. Make sense? This is why this is super important to know this stuff, okay? Now, we also need to figure out a couple of things, because my idea, and if you guys start implementing this stuff and you guys start to look for other investors besides people who do fix and flips, my idea is that if you come out of pocket $33,769, and this is exactly how I'm pitching it, okay? If you can come out your pocket $33,769, I put, at the end of your flip, after you sell it, you put $33,769 back in your pocket. So now you're at zero, right? Because you took $33,769 out, you get $33,769 back in. And then on top of that, I can put in an additional $33,769, right? That's 100% return. You guys make sense? There's no place out there in the stock market that's giving you 100% return, okay? When you do the math, that's a lot less than 30%, than that 30% margin. This is why I like breaking it down this way instead of saying, hey, you got to come out your pocket $238,000, because it's not $238,000. What's coming out of their pocket is this $33,769. Okay, everything else is just coming from the profit, from the proceeds of the sale. So let's see what that looks like. So we have a monthly. Let's say this project is going for, I think it's 8.9% on the interest. Okay, so how do we calculate interest? Okay, so we want to know what our monthly payments are going to be. So we'll put monthly. Man, this is taking forever. Monthly. I apologize, guys, but I know people are going to want to see this again. Monthly payment. How do we figure that out? Well, again, what are we being charged on? Okay, what are we being charged on? So if we're being charged on, and I'm going to do this math here again. If we're being charged on the 214,200, right? Because now we're not, now with the hard money lender, remember this is hard money lender that's charging us. We're done dealing with the lawyer, right? So the hard money is coming out of their pocket. Crystal is our hard money lender, and she's tough. She wants her money back with interest. So coming out of her bank account is $214,000 and $214,200, right? That's what's coming out of her account. So that means that's what we're being charged interest on. Okay. So if our interest is, if that's what we're being charged on interest on, our interest is 8.99%. All we're going to do is times this times 0.0899. And we're going to get that. If you guys are following along with me, and I'll do that again. So I'll do 214,200. All right. Is this showing up backwards? Is it showing up backwards, or is it, you can see it the right way?
We can see it the right way.
Okay, cool. And on my screen, it's mirrored. It looks backwards. So at $214,200, all I'm going to do is times 0.0899, and that is $19,256. Okay. Now, interest is what? When you see on commercials, right? When you're driving your car, they talk about what? They talk about APR, right? APR is what? Annual, right? Annual percentage rate. So interest is always, when you first do it, it's always shown as the annual rate. So if I want to know how much this is monthly, this is the annual rate. What do I have to do? I have to divide it by 12, right? So I'm going to divide this by 12 to find out how much I'm going to be paying every single month. So it comes out to 1604. So I'm just going to say 1605. We'll add a couple pennies to it. So our monthly payment is $1,605. Okay. Now, here's where you have to, as a fix and flipper or a project manager, whatever you want to do, you always want to be cautious with your flips. You always want to play it safe. Now, I know this particular project. I was looking at it. We could probably be in and out of this project if we price it right. We do the right type of repairs in 4 months. 3 months to flip it, at a month on market. Okay. But what I want to do is I want to play it safe, because if it was my money, that's exactly what I would do. I would play it safe, and I would give myself 6 months. Okay. So why is that important? Is because I need to times this times 6 months, because I need to find out how much, because this is only interest. There's no principal when you do the hard money. None of this is going to principal. Okay. This is all how they make their money. This is Crystal. She's coming in her pocket to loan us money. This is how she gets paid. Okay. So all this is going to interest. So if I want to know what this is, I'm just going to times it times 6. And that's going to give me $9,628 in interest. That's not including the points of $4,284. Okay. So just for her loaning us money, she's getting paid whatever that is. Let me see, $4,284. She's getting paid $13,000 just for us using her money for the next 6 months. Okay. She doesn't do anything. She doesn't swing any hammers. She doesn't do any of that. That's what she gets paid, right? If she was the one to loan us money. So we're going to times this times 6. I just did 1605 times 6 months. 6 months equals 9,630. $9,630. Okay. Now, holding costs, because obviously if we have people in there and they're using power tools, right, we need to have the electricity on. They're using the water, we need to have the water on. We need to have insurance, because maybe you get into this project and God forbid a tree limb falls through the roof. You want to have insurance. So the house catches on fire, you want to have insurance. So holding costs, right? This is kind of how I do holding costs, because it's very difficult to absolutely know without having an insurance agent give you a quote. You know, you're not trying to go through all that. Just go ahead and be on the higher end, all right? So in the beginning, you know, they're going to be doing a lot of demo. They're going to be doing a lot of cutting. In the beginning, your electric bill is going to be ridiculous. So but you probably won't use too much water, honestly, right? Because what are they using water for? They're going to be doing mostly demolition, nail guns on the roof, those type of things. But so you're going to spend about $200 just in electricity, all right? And obviously it depends on the house and if they're running AC and all those other things. But about $200 a month is a good safe bet, okay? Now, I'm also going to do about $150 in insurance per month. And I'm also going to do about another $150 in taxes in my market. So the taxes you can actually go find out, okay? So you can log on to the county tax assessor. If you want the real number, you can see how much the taxes are on that particular property, okay? So that 200 plus 150 plus 150, that equals 500. What I do is I like to throw an additional $100 on there just to be on the safe side. So that's $600 a month. So if I do $600 a month, right? And how long am I holding this thing for? I'm holding it for 6 months. That's $3,600 that we need to factor into the cost. Okay. So now we've done all this. This is all the expense that has come out. So you draw a nice little line underneath there. All right. This is all the stuff that's constantly costing. Now we've sold the property. We've got to the finish line. We got to the closing table and we sold the property. All right. But there is someone called a real estate agent that wants to get paid. Okay. And remember, we are now selling this property. So now all these numbers are not based off of 189.5, all these numbers are based off of what? Hopefully we hit our mark and we sold it at the ARV of 340, right? So we got a real estate agent. I'm just going to put a RA. It's REA. Yeah, you guys know what I mean. Realtor. They are going to, at 6%. So this is what, Ramon, I should have asked you, bro. You would have had it this time. 6%, man. You'd have been on it.
See?
Yeah, my bad. Let me do it again. Ramon, what's average closing cost? I mean, average real estate agent cost?
I think it's 6%, Tommy.
Bro, you've been studying, my man. You are killing it. Phenomenal. All right, so at 6%, not 6% of here, 6% of this 340, 6% of that 340, man, those real estate agents are getting paid. This is why I'm a real estate agent. But I don't want to do it like this. 20,400. So if you guys don't know it, if the listing agent also sells the property, they get to, well, not talking about what they get to split with their broker, because that can be, depends on how their brokerage is set up. But if I sell Ramon's property, right? If I'm the listing agent, I'm the one that put it in the MLS, and I go find the buyer, then I get to keep all 6%. Or I can negotiate for 7%. I could go as low as 2%. There's really no set guideline, but just generally across the country, generally it's about 6%. Okay. So if at 20,400 is coming out of my profit of this 340. Now, closing costs. This is closing costs. This was closing cost 1. I'm just going to put CC. So CC, closing costs number 2. Okay. Closing cost 1 was based off of the 189.5. Closing cost 2 is now a lot more. It's based off of this ARV of 340. Okay. Now, keep in mind, this is being super, super cautious. Okay. This is being super cautious because there's nothing set in stone saying that your closing costs have to be paid by the fix and flipper. Like, that's all negotiable. Okay. I can negotiate if I'm selling my property. Hey, listen, I'll take the price of, 340, or I'll take the price of 338, but I'm not paying any closing costs. The closing costs are on the buyer. I pay closing costs the first time, the buyer, and that's what I want to do. And we agree upon it. Meeting of the minds happens and everything is signed and good to go. Then that's fine. But if you were the flipper, you would take this in consideration. So you should take it in consideration for your end investor as well. So with that being said, 3%, well, that's easy math. This is 6%, 3% closing costs. Ramon now knows closing costs is 3% on average. So that would be half of this because this is based off of 6%. So 10,200. It's a lot of money coming out of that 340, right? That's over $30,000 coming out of that profit margin that used to be $102,000 profit margin when we first looked at it. It's a lot of money coming out of there, okay? So what we need to look at is say, is this number right here, right? Because we're getting kind of close to the end of this whole journey, right? So this right here is what came out the end investor's pocket. If you're the end investor, this is what came out of your pocket, okay? Now, we have this spread of 340 to 238, okay? So when you look at this 238, you got to remember this 238, when it comes back to you, this is including this 23,800 that was a down payment, okay? What is not included is this right here, this 42,800 and this 56,885 and this 20,400 and this 10,200, okay? Oh, I'm sorry. And, excuse me, this 9,630 and this 36,000, okay? So everything that I'm circling does not come back to you. This is getting spent, okay? This right here is going to the hard money lender. This right here is going to the lawyer for closing the first time. This right here is also going to the hard money lender. This right here is going to utilities, insurance, tax collector, all those people. This right here is going to the real estate agent. And this right here is going to the closing attorney again, okay? So that all comes out of that difference, okay? So if we took that 340, all right? So we took this 340, we're gonna do, we already know the difference between 340,000 and 238,000 is 102K, correct? My math's right? So now we have to subtract that money. We have to subtract this right here. So 102,000 minus our first number we have circled there, 4,284, minus that second number we have circled, 5,685, minus the third number, 9,630, minus the fourth number that we have circled, 3,600, minus our real estate agent cost, that hurts, 20,400, and then minus our final amount, our closing cost number 2, 10,200. Once we subtract all of these numbers, once we subtract all this stuff, right? Once we minus all this, we have grand total, drum roll please, $48,201. So when I do this, what I'm immediately looking for is how much did my investor have to come out of their pocket? Oh, $33,769. At the end of the day, what's going back in their pocket? $48,201. Okay. This is all gravy stuff. Why? Because I get to write this stuff off as an investor, right? But I'm not gonna get into that. You need to get with your accountant to do that. Okay. So it's not that it's lost. It's just captured in a different way. Okay. But this right here, and even this, you have to pay taxes on it unless you roll it right over into another property. Okay. But there's different ways that you can do that stuff. But this right here, this is an awesome return on investment, because at that, this gives me, if you just do what I'm making versus what I spent, this is 143% ROI. Okay. When you know how to do this, when you really truly understand this, this opens up a world of possibilities, a whole new world. You guys remember that song, right? You guys know I can hit that note. Listen, this opens up a whole different world, right? Because if you know how to explain this and break it down so people who've never heard it before can understand it, and you show them, hey, room full of teachers who have $70,000 sitting in their retirement fund, getting 8% or 6% or 7%. How would you like it if I could get you 140%? Does that sound better than 6%? Obviously it does, right? So when you know how to break this thing down and show them this, and then show them, listen, I'm being super, super cautious with this. I'm being super conservative with this. Like a lot of these things are negotiable. This right here, this big chunk right here is negotiable. This is negotiable, right? But I'm being super conservative with this, and I'm still getting you 143% return on your money versus your 6, 7, or 8% that you're currently getting. What makes better sense? And you just shut up and let them think about it. This is why I want to teach you this, guys, because you need to, when this market turns, you're going to need to look for money in different places. Okay. You're not just hard money lenders are going to dry up. They're going to be like, nah, we're buying on our own because that's the time to buy. With people with cash, that have cash on hand, that's when you're getting houses for the cheapest. So if you know how to do this, you can get in front of a room full of teachers or anybody who has a pension or 401k or anybody who's been working long enough to have, a couple $1,000s saved up in their account and say, hey, listen, why don't you guys, instead of getting the little minuscule return that you're getting, how about you partake in this? Because all the numbers are basically the same, except for you're not going to have closing costs. So you're not going to have finance points, and you're not going to have monthly payments. If group economics, if you can convince people to do group economics, you can make this. If you take those things out, man, you're probably talking about 170% ROI, right? So if you can know how to explain this, you can get funding to do projects, and you're still getting, remember, we got this thing under contract. This is a real property. I got this under contract for 160. Okay. At 189.5, it still makes sense, right? It still makes sense for this investor. So learning this, knowing how to put this thing together in a clear, concise package is something that you definitely want to learn how to do. So I think I've rambled on for quite a bit of time. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, real quick, Tommy, this is Ramon. The 102K, where did you get that from again, that base number?
So the 102K, all right, so remember, we're talking about the difference between the ARV and the all-in, okay? Do you see that there? So the difference between 340 and 238,000. That make sense?
Okay.
Got it. Cool. All right. Any other questions on this? So this is a really good way of, like, if you can understand these numbers and what this looks like and what this means, if you know how to do this, you're going to be light years ahead of any other wholesaler. Like, other wholesalers are not doing this because they don't care. They just want to know how much money is going in their pocket. They're not caring about the end investor and whether or not the end investor is making money. If the end investor, like I said, is coming out of their pocket this amount, $33,769, and they can go ahead and put back at the end of the day, after paying all this crap, after all this stuff is paid out, they can still put their original $33,000 back in their pocket and an additional $48,201 with 143% ROI, net ROI. That's a phenomenal return. So you just got to be able to convey that and explain that to people. Make sense? Cool. All right, let me see. I got some, let's see. Let me see what can, let me stop sharing first. Maybe that'll help. All right. Anybody have any questions? Yeah, can you start over again? Yeah, that's a lot. What questions do you have, Sid, man? Did you just get in the call? Because I only had half the screen showing.
No, I got it. I was a little confused when you got the part where it says mortgage payment. Where'd you get the 0.0899? Where'd you get that from? Oh,
cause so that's an actual real rate. So I'm actually like right above me is a real case study that I'm working on, or how a contractor are working on. So you just have to know what your individual hard money lender or institution is charging you. So if they're charging you, 10%, then it would be 10%. If they're charging you, 14.99%, then that's where you can use that, and you just plug those numbers in.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Anybody else? Anybody else have questions with that? Anybody? Go ahead, Antoine.
So a realtor normally get a 6%, I guess, interest rate. I mean, not interest, 6% if they close on the house. See if I befriended a realtor and they give me one of their parker listing. What is something fair that I should, I guess, give a realtor? See if I close on the property that they give me.
What's fair, you said?
Yeah, what's fair that I should, kind of give them if they give me one of their parking listings.
So what are you talking about, as a wholesaler or as a real estate agent?
Oh, I mean, say if I'm wholesaling it, but they just had a property that they just basically give it, give it to me and I close on it rather. Like as a return favor for giving me a property that they have.
Yeah, I got you. So this is what I do with real estate agents. Their money doesn't come out of my money, right? So I'm a real estate agent, right?
Right.
So, I choose to be a real estate agent. You got to deal with that 3% or 6%, right?
Okay.
So unless they're just bringing you a lot of value, right? So what I would do is just say, listen, whatever you're making, are you comfortable with that? And they say, yeah, I want my 6% or their 3% or whatever, 4%, whatever they negotiate, okay? And the benefit for them is that, listen, once we sell this deal, the first time on the back end, whoever is flipping the house, I can't guarantee it, but you could possibly get paid again by selling that, being the listing agent, which as a real estate agent, understand this, as a real estate agent, you always want to be on the list, be a listing agent, because houses eventually will get sold if you price them correctly and you set expectations correctly with your clients, right? the house will get sold. So if you're a listing agent, he's going to get paid the first time, right? When you bring a buyer, and then when that buyer fixes it and flips it, they have the opportunity to get paid a second time. Okay. So what I do is I say, listen, if you're getting paid 6%, let's just keep it easy. $100,000 house, you're going to get paid $6,000, but I'm going to get paid $10,000 for my wholesaling fee. That $10,000 is mine. Like that $6,000 does not come out of my 10. That comes out of whoever wants to pay it, the client's 10 or the seller's 10. Normally it's the end investor's 10 or end investor's money, excuse me, right? Normally they'll pay whatever they need to pay the real estate agent in order to make that happen.
Okay.
Make sense? Did I confuse you or did that make sense?
No, I got you. The
main thing is that don't let the real estate agent dig in your pockets.
Right.
Main thing.
Cool. Got you. Thanks.
Yeah, man. All right. Anybody else? I know that was a lot of math. Yeah. I don't even know if I can go back to it, but let me see. Can I? Or is it erased? Oh, it's still there. All right. So if you guys have any questions with this stuff, please, look at it now. And if you're just completely like, yo, what the heck is this? Go ahead and let me know now, because I'm telling you, this is important stuff, especially you want to start to, just in the last couple of weeks, I've had the opportunity to go ahead and explain some of these things to, today was Congressman John Lewis, and the other day was an NFL player, right? And so when you know this stuff, it automatically makes you look like an expert. So if you don't know it now, please let me know. I see Ramon.
Hey,
yes.
I'm sorry. Do you want us to unmute or put it in the chat?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, you could just unmute yourself if no one's. Ramon, I got you next, but whoever's on, I can't see who's on now. Is this Eddie?
Yeah. What's up, man?
Yeah. What's up, man? So if you got a question, just go ahead. Just unmute yourself.
Okay, cool. So first, happy holidays, everybody. Just two or three quick questions, just so I can make sure. The FIN, that's the financing, is that right?
Correct. That's the finance. Yeah, I'm getting lazy writing this.
Okay, no problem. And the DP, what was that?
That was down payment.
Down payment. Okay, for the same deal. Now you recording this, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, perfect. So that was pretty much. And I have another question, but it pertains.
On my mixtape though.
Oh, okay, perfect. Your singers on there too, because I don't know.
Yeah.
I got one more question, but it pertains to something else. So I'll wait till this topic is done, then I'll come back.
Okay, perfect. All right. Ramon.
Okay, so going back to the financing with the point two, I understand that that's 2 points for the amount of the purchase. So how do you calculate the 0.89%? I don't see that on here.
So it is here, but I just didn't write it. It's. Remember I talked about the monthly payment, right? So the reason why we got the monthly payment is because we took the amount that we were financing of $214,200, all right, times that 0.899. Do you get that? Let me see. Let me make sure my math is right. I think we did it live, so it should be. But 214,200, right? 214 times 0.0899. Remember, if your interest rate is 14.99, and you're gonna put 14.99 in here, right? It equal $19,256.58. As soon as you see that, I need you to think APR, right? APR, annual percentage rate. All percentages, all the interest is always off of annual. So we need to know how much we want to do per month. So if this is per the year, there's 12 months in a year. So we're going to divide that by 12 to find out what our monthly rate is, which is $1,604.71. I just rounded it up to 1605. So if that's our monthly, then we just got to know, okay, well, how long am I projecting this project to last? Worst case scenario, not best case scenario, because that's how you lose money. Worst case scenario, how long am I projecting this project to last? Oh, I'm projecting it to last 6 months. Okay, so then I just got to times 6 months equals that.
Okay.
Cool. And if I'm going too fast, guys, don't feel like there's nothing on here. don't feel like you can't ask the question. This is the time to ask the question. Don't try to get me, 2 days later from now. All right, ask the question now. Do we have anything else in the chat? I don't think so. Let me see if anybody else has their hand raised. Nope. Cool.
Just the 102. Sorry, Tommy. I don't know. You saw that in the chat. How'd you get the 102 again?
Oh, so we're saying 340. So we're just saying, okay, our ARV was 340, and if you do 340 times 0.7, right? Give you that to give you that 70%. That 30% profit margin. That gives you an all-in of 238. You got that? So 238. Did I do that math right? 340 minus 238, right? That's right. It's 102.
Yeah, 22,800 is what I got on my calculator.
Minus 238. Yeah, 102.
Okay.
I can't see myself now anymore, but can you guys see that? So yeah, there we go. So that's where I got the 102 from. That's a good question. So remember, this is the profit, because this 238, you gotta understand. So we can't just look at the numbers, right? I'm glad you brought this up. We can't just look at this number. We have to know what this number represents. So this 238 is including the rehab cost and the purchase price. But we also need to know what these numbers represent. Within this rehab cost, $4,850 came out of, let's say, Civ. Let's say you're the actual fix and flipper, all right? $4,850 came out of your bank account, not the hard money lenders. It came out of your bank account. Out of the purchase price of the home of $189,500, $18,950 came out of your bank account, okay? But combined, it all is a part of this rehab and purchase price, which is the all-in price. So once we get this back, your $4,850 and $18,950, that what totals this down payment, right? That goes back into your bank account, right? So it's important. It's very, 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 very important that if you're explaining this to people, that they understand that. Because if they just say, man, I spent $33,000, but I only made $48,201, they're going to only look at the differences like, oh, well, I only made a difference of, $15,000, whatever that comes out to be, right? Like, no. This is all coming back to you. Everything else, this whole amount over here is gravy, right? This is all extra. So knowing that difference of that 102 is part of the puzzle of figuring out how to get to this area right here. Cool. I know it's a little bit, it's a little much, but yeah, it's definitely important to know. Anybody else? If you got questions, just take yourself off mute. Don't be shy. Eddie, if you have no one answers, and I know you had another question, so. Okay, Eddie, I guess you're good.
All right. So my question was pertaining to marketing. So I do a lot of cold calling. This year we plan on doing RVM to that. And so I have confusion on when to do what, so to speak, as far as setting up a schedule. Like if I was, to give you a better example of where I'm coming from, if I was mailing out, right, I would have a campaign and I would be mailing out to, let's say, pre-foreclosure or whatever like that, each week or every, once a month or something like that, right? When it comes to cold calling, I'm trying to get a better understanding of how to do the same thing. I wanted to see if what kind of outline do you use? So like, are you calling, let's say like eviction list? Do you call all your eviction leads for the first week of the month, or like how do you break that down?
Is this you're talking about through RVM to get like a system for RVM?
For RVM and for just I don't know if you're doing cold calling as well, but yes, RVM, because that's one of the things I want to add on.
This is what I would suggest right here, right? If you're doing shotgun approach, big list, right? You do, and everybody who doesn't know, RVM is ringless voicemails, right? It's that, that annoying call that you get, and it's just a robot. It's actually not a robot, but it's, it would be Eddie's real voice, but he's not really on the phone. It's just a voicemail, right? So You do that on Tuesday and Thursday. And here's why. Tuesday, you have your calls go out between 10 to 1 p.m. All right. And then from 5, or some people do it at 4, some people might do it at 4, but like I like to do it at 5 to about 7:30, latest 8 o'clock. Okay. And you do that on Tuesday and then Thursday. And here's why. So Tuesday, you put those out. The 10 to 1, what we're doing there is we're either targeting, or the people that are going to be, they're going to get that phone call, they're either going to be probably retired if you're targeting some people, so they can answer the phone between 10 to 1, or they're at their job working. So what that does is that weed out people, because what's going to happen is that they're going to get a voicemail. They're not going to be able to listen to it. And if they call you back, that means they're interested, right? So that's those people. Then the people from 4 or 5 to 8 p.m., those people are going to be the ones that are either stuck in traffic on the way home. We're trying to catch them on the way home before they get to the kids, or they already made it to their house and they have the ability to answer the phone, okay? So that's that. What's going to happen is that if you do enough of those consistently, you'll have a stockpile of appointments, and you can handle your appointments. If you get those on Tuesday, on Wednesday, once all those phone calls come in, you're returning those phone calls and you're setting up appointments, okay? And you're trying to knock out those appointments. You want to knock out those appointments as quickly as possible. Then that gives you that whole day of just being on the phones, returning phone calls, setting appointments, running ARVs, doing all that stuff that you should do before you run out to these properties. Make sense? Thursday comes back around, guess what? You got a whole new list of RVMs to run, right? So that means Friday is you're going to have to do the exact same thing. So by this time now, you've probably set appointments for sometimes on Thursday or Friday or Saturday. It's probably should be within that time frame that you're setting appointments. So now you're going on appointments, and now you have Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and you're kind of using Monday as a cleanup day of any appointments they got pushed back, or for whatever reason you couldn't make it. Any of those type of appointments, you're pushing that off onto like the Monday, and then Tuesday you're back at it again with those calls going out. So you can sprinkle in so that's what I would do with my shotgun approach, like my big list approach. Your smaller list, where you're buying lists that only have 30, 40, 50 people on them. On those other days, like your Monday, if you don't have anything going, or or your Wednesday or your Friday, those are the days that you can, actually be cold calling those people. But I would use roughly the same times. Actually, for me, I really like to do the afternoon time, because at that time, that's when I'm actually trying to reach people. I don't want to have to go to voicemail. I want to try to reach them at that point, because that means I have a good list. Does that make sense?
Yep, that made perfect sense. So when it comes to that, then how often are you recycling your list for RVM? Or what do you recommend, I should say?
Yeah.
Not everything's different.
I got one list in Macon that I'm probably going to call again, and I got that list. Man, it was summertime when I got that list. It was early summer too, so probably like June. So it just depends, man. Like if you're hitting the list and you're getting, you just realize, man, this is just not good, then move on to the next list, man. But it's a hard question. I don't have like there's certain things that I think I'm really strict on. I don't really have a strict answer on that. It really just depends on the feedback that I'm getting from the list.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool. All right. Let me see. I think we're about there. Stop share. Perfect. Appreciate that, Majid. That was great information. Cool, man. I'm glad you got some value out of it. Melvin, what's good, man? How you doing? Cool. Man, you look like a black Santa Claus over there, brother. Beard growing in nice.
What's going on, man?
I'm doing good. Doing good, man. Doing good. Cool. All right. So if anybody doesn't have, if you don't have any more questions, we're going to hop off. It's right at 59 minutes. So this is perfect. But if you do have a question, it's your last chance. Going once, going twice. All right. 3 times. So Sean, what you eating? Yeah, bro. You munching hard. I can't have it. It don't look vegan. It don't look vegan.
Negatives, Ghost Rider.
Not vegan.
Some Mongolian beef.
Oh yeah. Stay away from that. And I messed my stomach all up, bro. All right. Y'all have a blessed one, man. Appreciate y'all coming out. Hopefully you learned something. We love you guys. And I say we, like, it's just me. I love you. And yeah, guys, have a good one. All right. Y'all take care.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right, y'all.